Yes, of course. You know, when you have that disappointment of losing 2 points last week, you won a game straight away. Start of the season has been a little bit different than last year. We had loads of games early on. Now we've had a week in between, so we've been training well, and I think the boys are ready.
Yeah, everyone fully fit or happens?
Yeah, we're still missing Scott, obviously, who's had the surgery this week. Marcus, Alex, Dean Henderson, they're not ready. But apart from that, we have a fit squad ready to fight for points.
Absolutely. See the transfer window wide open at the moment. Just tell us where we are with some players. Jesse Lingard for one.
No, Jesse, I see him as a Man United player. I know there's been loads of speculation about him, but he's had a very good pre-season, just been picked for England in the squad. It's just been unfortunate that he got COVID just before the league started, and he would have 100% started the first game because of the pre-season he had, so we can see him doing well this season.
Well, obviously one player who hasn't been in Gareth Southgate's plans is Mason Greenwood. Is that kind of good news for you, though? I guess disappointing for him, though.
I think Mason's on the right track. I've had conversations with Gareth. He sees him as a potential England striker forward. We potentially see him as a very, very good talent. I think he's taken step by step, and the way Gareth wanted to manage that one, I felt very comfortable with, and I think Mason's on the right track, definitely.
I mentioned the transfer window. Obviously it's wide open, and it looks like your arch-rival City are doing big business in terms of Cristiano Ronaldo. How will that affect your title hopes, do you feel, if they get a player like Cristiano Ronaldo?
Well, we focus on the ones we have here. Don't want to speculate too much on Cristiano, of course, what's happening there in the press, and I've said many a time with the speculations, you have, when you're at Man United, when you're Messi, when you're Ronaldo, when you're Pogba, Bruno, you have to read a lot about yourself. So let's see what happens with Cristiano, because he's such a legend of this club.
Andrew Mitten.
Hi, Ole.
Hi, Andy.
Are you happy with your squad now, or does a manager always want more players and more options?
Any manager, like Jose said last week, is always looking for a little bit more. But I have to say that the transfer business that we've done this summer, of course, I'm happy. I'm happy with the numbers we have, with the quality we have, with the personalities we brought in. You know, with the atmosphere and the spirit in the squad is really good. The staff with them, I think they fit each other really well, and you're never comfortable. Of course you're not as a manager, but you go to work and you see the chemistry is there, and yeah, I'm very happy with what we got here.
Laurie Whitwell.
Hi, Ole. Just on Cristiano, Wayne Rooney said last night that he couldn't see him going to Manchester City, being a United legend. Would United be tempted to try and go in for that one?
As I said, don't want to speculate too much because it's speculation. But Cristiano has been a legend of this club. He is a legend of this club. He's the greatest player of all time, if you ask me. I was fortunate enough to play with him. I coached him when I got my job. He almost retired me because that Wolverhampton game when I got injured, he kept switching sides. But such a tremendous human being as well. So let's see what happens with Cristiano. Everyone who's played with him, I think, have a soft spot for him.
Simon Stone.
Hi, Ole. Just on a couple of other players. Donny van der Beek didn't get into the Dutch squad today. And also Phil Jones kind of came back during pre-season and seems to have disappeared again. Can you just update us on those two players and whether they've got any role to play this season for you?
Yeah, I can do. Start with Donny, who, of course, we started against Leeds with the team that we picked, and the 5-1 win was, of course, I think a justification on the team selection. Of course, it always is. Then we moved to the next one. Scott couldn't play, and Nemanja has been our best player in the pre-season. I have to say that's why I chose Nemanja. He's been terrific. So I went with them two. Donny has worked hard. He's done really well. I can't say anything else than he will get his chances when the season gets going. Last season we had the Carabao Cup games. We had a game every 3 or 4 days at the start. Now we've had a week in between, 8 days even. So I can't really say it in any other way that we made a decision. Of course, when you start as well as you do, you don't want to rotate too much. But we made a couple of this. Scott couldn't start, and that was the decision that Nemanja started instead of Donny. He was very close, very, very close, and he has been very positive in the games. And Phil, he has had a horrible 18, 19, 20 months, and probably a year before that as well with injuries. I think Rio was a bit not out of order, but he was a bit unlucky. He should have called me and asked why Phil hasn't played or why Phil hasn't been here, because Phil is a no-fuss, get-on-with-it type of guy, and I think that was out of order completely. I know more than anyone how it feels to be injured at that stage. Phil's still not 30 years of age. He's probably, since I came here, he's battled against this knee injury, and he put his body on the line every single training session, every single game. There's a few times we've had to manage him, and he's never done anything but give everything for the club. And Rio of all, he should know more than go out and say this. I've wanted to say a lot. I've not said too much about Phil's injury because I've more or less protected him. Phil's never in social media, never asks to do interviews. He just gets his head down, proper professional. No fuss, family man, and just wants to get back fit. And we managed to get him half an hour against Burnley, which was the first half an hour against an opponent. He's played here in training. He's working his way. I was out for 2 years in a 3-year period with a knee injury, and Phil has battled valiantly, I'd say, and it's nothing more. I know how Phil has felt, because you're embarrassed at times coming in, but he has to look after his career, and he's now getting back to fitness. And now is not the time for me to throw him in, because I think if we give him a little bit more, maybe a month, 6 weeks, some behind closed doors, he'll be there. And it's for me as a manager to see that he can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's great, because I've been through the same. So I think Rio knows as well. I think Rio should. I think he feels a little bit sorry about that one. I've not spoke to Rio, but I think he should. Sorry, that was a big, long one, but I feel Phil deserves that, because he's played here for 10 years and he's always given everything.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Samuel Luckett.
Thanks for asking. Next one.
Hi, Sam.
That was it?
The audio's not coming through. I'll move on to Damien Spellman for the time being.
Hi, Ole. Can I ask about Rafa Varane? How close is he to being involved? And do you see elements of some of the great defenders you played with in your time at the club in him on the training bench?
He is working really hard. When I asked him if he was ready to play, we had an in behind closed doors against Burnley last week. And he felt, no, I need to suffer on the training field first. He needs to work, because he had his holidays. He came in, said his goodbyes at Real Madrid. Then he didn't train with them. Then he was waiting for his visa. Then he came here, had his isolation. We found him a little garden, a house with a garden. He trained, but he wasn't ready to play. But now he's had a couple of weeks of good training. So and he's looking ever as impressive. He is as a person, as a player. He's got class. So he will fit in at Man United definitely, and I think we've signed a top person and a player at the right time, because a new challenge for him after being a World Cup winner, Champions League winner at Real Madrid so many times. He probably needed a challenge, and hopefully we can challenge him to take the next step.
Neil Custis.
Hi, Ollie, just a couple. We played so well against Leeds, and then at Southampton, when you got the goal, you seem to have the impetus. Is the early lesson this season, because it's happened quite a lot last season, when you drew games, so when you get that impetus, putting your sort of foot down on the pedal?
I think you're right. When they were not too dissimilar, those two games, in the way they went. Of course, we took the lead against Leeds, then they scored, then we got the momentum and we scored a couple quickly, and we were clinical. And that was the difference this time with Southampton. We weren't clinical. We didn't take our chances. We had as many or even more against Southampton. But if you're not clinical and ruthless in the box, then you won't win points in the Premier League. So we had a good spell. When I've looked at it, we had a good 10, even 15 minutes after we scored that we should have scored more. And then the last 15, we lost our way. And that was the thing we've looked at now. Stick to your structure, believe in ourselves, believe in what we're doing, believe in your teammates, and keep sticking to what we're good at.
That Cristiano is quite ruthless, isn't he?
I knew you were going to ask. Yeah, to be fair, I could have been in that box and scored a few as well. The ones he scored, just tap-ins, them overkick tap-ins and stuff. No, I have to say, as I said earlier, he's probably the greatest player of all time, arguably him and Messi. So, but then it is what it is.
Mike McGrath.
So just on that, Ollie, if Allegri has said that Cristiano wants to move, I was just asking, with one of the greatest players ever on the market, why would Manchester United not try for a move like that?
Well, it's I didn't think Cristiano was going to turn out leaving Juventus, and it's been speculation this morning, speculations the last few days, of course. So we've always had a good communication. I know Bruno's been talking to him as well, and he knows what we feel about him. And if he was ever gonna move away from Juventus, he knows that we're here.